This conference will now be recorded.
Okay, thank you. Welcome. Appreciate you guys joining us for our first PowerUp meeting in a minute, probably a couple months.
Hot minute.
Yeah, it's been a couple months. But we're going to go over, we're going to kind of do a little impromptu. This is going to be only about an hour. I'm going to fade out probably by 9. We usually go an hour and a half. But since we have 2 GOGI peer coaches, online, we're going to go ahead and maybe just mix it up a little bit. So everybody here kind of knows already about GOGI. We don't have anybody new yet that's called in. So what we're going to do is call our meeting to order like we always do, and then, discuss a little bit about belly breathing. So belly breathing, I'm like 2 tools behind, about positive thoughts. And everybody maybe give a little bit of a reflection, and then we'll go through the material. So, Rebecca, would you like to call our meeting to order, please, ma'am? I mean, make that bigger so you can see it.
We call this meeting to order. The purpose of GOGI is to provide simple tools to anyone interested in making more positive decisions in their lives. The goal of the PowerUp is to create a purpose and meaning of service for that week's tool. That is where the GOGI gets their power. We power up by living a life of service.
Thank you, ma'am. And who would like to do the reading of the GOGI 12 tools for positive decision making? Jeff? Oh, that's great. Thank you, Jeff. Go ahead.
Boss of my brain, belly breathing, 5-second light switch, positive thoughts, positive words, positive actions, claim responsibility, let go, forgive, what if, reality check, and ultimate freedom.
Thank you. And let me just fix these as they got all like smushed. Why does it do that when I PDF this stuff? Okay. Okay. So we usually do a recap of last week's tool. We didn't study last week's tool, but what was last week's tool?
5-second light.
5-second light switch.
5-second light switch. And what do we like about 5-second light switch?
And all it takes is 5 seconds to switch a train of thought.
And what are we doing? When we use our 5-second light switch, we are replacing what with a what?
Negative thought with a positive action.
Thank you. Very good. So we're not just stopping ourselves from thinking a certain thing. We're not just saying, I'm going to stop thinking about that. We're not just replacing a negative thought with a positive thought. We're actually replacing a negative thought with an action. So we are choosing an action before time so that we know what we're going to use to, when we come up against something. So like we've discussed before, I am a menace in email. I am a cutthroat she-devil when it comes to email. And I can rip somebody up in about 5 minutes in email if it is a bad trait. But since I've been using GOGI, I have yet to get written up at this job I'm at. Nobody has ever yelled at me for sending an email because I use 5-second light switch when someone pisses me off. Instead of instantly hitting reply and start typing 90 words a minute, I stand up. I physically stand up, push away, and I walk away from my desk. And I give myself that 5-second light switch so that I don't make a bad decision. And that's probably been this tool and belly breathing are probably the 2 tools I use the most during the day when I'm working. And it is, honestly, I'm like a stellar employee, so it's been awesome. Yeah, I'm like, they're proud of me. They heard about my reputation, and so they're like, we're proud of you. So so we're replacing it with a different action. Yeah.
I have you as proof, I guess, of how my attitude has changed from when I first started using GOGI till now. Because I used to fly off the handle at everything. I don't care about nothing. And now I sit and I breathe. I do my belly breathing. I do my 5-second light switch. I do positive thoughts, actions, words, all that. And
you're not even Boss in Mayhem anymore.
I'm not. I love that name.
You were Boss in Mayhem, but you're really not that anymore. Yeah. every once in a while, because I mean, you know, we can't fake the funk too much. You know, everybody's got a little Boston mayhem in them, but you know, GOGI actually, it does help. So yeah, 5-second light switch is huge. I love that tool a lot. Okay, so let's go down. We kind of a quick little recap. So, according to the national calendar, students of GOGI are studying the tool of, drum roll, here we go, 4th week of January, positive thoughts. Whoop, whoop. Okay, so positive thoughts are in which group?
Tools of choice.
Or tools of choice, right? Which we call this, what, positive TWA back in the day, right, James? Back when they were only one tool before everything got split out to like 3. So I'll go ahead and read this part. One of the things I've tried to do in creating this booklet, which this booklet was actually supposed to be, where is it? It was supposed to be 40 pages originally, and it is now 141 pages. So it's definitely gotten bigger because what I'm trying to do is the science. I'm trying to bring the science back into it. I love the science behind the tools. So I think it's really important to incorporate that, especially since we're bringing this into the community. The community wants things that are evidence-based, right?
Right.
So this here, GOGI tools of choice, positive thoughts, positive words, and positive actions all focus on this shared goal of shifting a person's perspective from one of negative and lack of control to one of control over their behaviors, thoughts, and feelings in order to increase the individual's quality of life. GOGI tools of choice, positive thoughts, positive words, and positive actions encourage the practice of replacing negative thoughts with positive thoughts and challenging assumptions and core beliefs about self, others, and the world in order to decrease dysfunctional behavior patterns. The tools of choice empower people to regain control over the decisions they make that directly affect their quality of life. So as we know, everything in GOGI is evidence-based cognitive therapy. And then we'll go ahead and go into the science behind the tools for these specific tools. Jeff, do you want to read that for us? Can you see that?
A recent scientific study?
Yes.
Okay, conducted by the University of Michigan, explored positive attitude as it relates to human growth and success. They invested a great deal of time and resources and came up with an obvious result. They found a correlation or link between having a positive attitude and experiencing positive outcomes. It may seem like common sense, but very few of us actually focus on the positive things in our life. However, most people agree that looking at the brighter side of life is important. Positive thoughts, positive words, and positive actions offer positive results, even if it is only in your positive perception or positive experience of negative stimuli. With relationships, you are happier when positive attributes are your focus, even if the other person never changes. Think about it. How much of your thinking, words, and actions are negative? Are they negative because your situation is negative? Are you reaching negatively and justifying it, or are you reacting negatively and justifying it by the situation? Is the other person wrong? They did it. Are you being negative because the world needs to be supportive for you to be positive? Do things need to be positive around you in order for you to be positive as well? Do you really want to give up control and live in a constant reaction to your environment? Or do you want to be the boss? Some people have negative viewpoints. Their significant other has 101 faults that make them unhappy. Their situations keep them from being internally happy. Some people tend to blame their outlook on situations, their partner, their job, the system, anyone but themselves. Do you really believe the following statements? I'd be happier if I was at home. I'd be happy if I had money. I'd be happy if I had a good paying job. Inmates with positive TWA and a wide group of positive acquaintances tend to cope better. They hold positive qualities during incarceration and also when they return home to their families. What if you were to focus on 3 of your best qualities regularly? Your 3 best qualities will help you with your thoughts, words, and actions. Positive thoughts, positive words, and positive actions will come out of your focus on what is right, not what is wrong. Positive TWA allows you to use techniques proven by scientists and human behaviorists. Positive thoughts lead directly to positive words. It is difficult to be negative when you're thinking positive thoughts. The two are linked. Positive words lead to positive actions. Positive actions broadcast who you are to the world.
Thank you.
Thank you.
What do you guys think about this?
I was actually thinking when he said what are your 3 best qualities? I don't know off top what my 3 best qualities are, and I was thinking about asking Michael what he thought my 3 best qualities are when he calls next, and seeing if I can start focus on those more, and maybe I can become more of a positive person that way.
Yeah, no, that would be good. That would be good because sometimes sometimes we have a hard time. Well, majority of the time, especially for women, probably, we have a tendency to be very hard on ourselves.
Yep.
Guilt. Women function on guilt. I think a lot of times, especially when you're moms or single moms or whatever it is, and it's hard for us when we're out here and our men are inside. We have to hold it down for us and them. So I think we have a tendency to maybe forget what our good qualities are. So if you ask Michael, you might actually be surprised, and he might, have to convince you a little bit of certain things, of what your good qualities are. But it's a good way to definitely to concentrate more on that than on the negative, because we do have a tendency to concentrate on our negatives a lot.
I already know 2 of them that he'd say, but I'm gonna ask him for 2 others that I don't think is so obvious.
Yeah. No, that would be good.
A good mom, but I don't know.
Well, and it's good that draws him back into that discussion too.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Makes him part of your solution, just like you are for him.
Right.
But I like this point that talks about, if do some people have to be, they are whatever the situation is. Right. And so if a situation is a negative one, people are negative. If a situation is positive one, people are positive. There are people that are kind of chameleons. They blend in.
That's how I used to.
They blend into whatever. And sometimes that's good. I think maybe for some people, I'm happy no matter what's going on. However, I am, I am a natural empath. So if I'm around negativity a lot, it weighs heavily on me. And so instead of allowing myself to be, to succumb to that and to have all of that seep into me, I will remove myself from a situation very quickly if it's negative, because I want to stay positive. And if my positivity can't rub off on the people around me, then it's better to remove myself, because I will become swayed by that. And I do notice that. I've had to cut out a lot of people from my life because I find myself becoming negative, and that's just not who I am, naturally. So we have to be careful of our association.
So would you say it's fair to say you could combine Pulse of My Brain with What If to try to triangulate your situation so it's easier to maintain and share positive thoughts?
Probably, yeah. I think there's many times that we've discussed in our group that it'll take, sometimes we would joke about, oh my God, I needed a GOGI 3-pack today to get through something, or I needed a GOGI 6-pack to get through something. I had to take 3 tools to get me through this, or 6 tools to get me through that. But that's one of the cool things about GOGI is you can take this tool or that tool or that tool to help you get to this one, help you accomplish whatever it is. And being boss of your brain, and what if exactly. You're going to make the decisions, and what if I stay in this situation, or what if I don't? What if I choose to associate over here, or what if I choose to stay here and be pulled down emotionally? Yeah.
I cut
it all fits.
people out of my life recently for because of the negativity, and
Yeah.
it's done a world of change already, and it's only been like
Yeah.
2 or 3 months. So.
Well, and different personalities have a tendency. My personality is very easily swayed by emotion. I feel emotion deeply of other people. And so it is really important for me to stay positive, because if I get into that negative funk, I become a nightmare. So, I mean, straight up, yeah. Straight up. I mean, I'm dealing with that right now. You know, part of the reason I've been gone so much is I'm dealing with a little bit of a disappointment, and I'm trying to figure out how to wrap my head around it, accept what it is, find something positive out of that, and throw the rest away. And I'm having a hard time because it's boomeranging back constantly. So the best thing for me to do is submerge myself in the positive, and eventually the negative will be washed away.
Yeah.
But I haven't been doing that, and I need to do that. So tonight's my first step. Yes, tonight's the first step.
Good.
Okay. So, positive thoughts. Rebecca, do you want to tell us what our statement of ownership is for positive thoughts?
Sure. My positive thoughts, hold on, let me see. My positive thoughts set the direction of my life from this moment forward. I focus on positive thoughts, even when it is difficult or challenging. No matter what is happening, I can create positive thoughts. Repeat this week's statement of ownership as often as possible. Before you get out of bed, before your meals, during a break, and before sleep. Write the statement for added emphasis. Your weekly statement of ownership reinforces this week's tool.
Thank you. You know, we've talked about different ways of doing that. Set a timer on our cell phone to go off every couple hours or whatever. Maybe when we find ourselves, there's certain times of the day it's more challenging, set a timer, and to remind us of our statement of ownership. Sticky notes, I still do sticky notes like crazy all over, you know, with what is that, positive affirmations and whatever the GOGI tool is. So they're good ways to help us to wake up positive and go to sleep positive.
Yeah.
All right, so we already know that we study positive thoughts the fourth week of January, April, July, and October. And our keywords, Jeff, what are the 3 Ps
Is
for
it
positive thoughts?
productive, or is it positive?
And what happens if it's not all 3 of those things?
Then it's got to go.
It's got to go. So what if it's powerful and productive, but it's not positive? It's got to go.
Yeah, it's still got to go.
It's got to go. We can't have 2 out of 3. We got to have all 3, right?
Right.
Yep. Got to have all 3. Okay. Jeff, so you know you're a peer coach. You spend time inside. Why don't you tell us your thoughts on positive thoughts and in your study of this tool?
Okay. You know, Coach Taylor's really good about taking sometimes complex concepts related to cognitive restructuring and behavioral modification and just cooking it down to something anyone can grasp. And what really summarized it in a nutshell for me was when she said, whatever opinion or thought, or, you know, when you're trying to reframe something, use that as a filter. If it's not positive, productive, or powerful, then let it go. You're boss of your brain, and it doesn't have to be a part of you, and you can move on. And after a while, those of us that were really grasping that and living that, and even to this day, even yesterday, people are telling me how we shine and how we're just so bubbly, and that's from this tool, because through it I learned how to even just cut loose. You know, like I'd say, I'm just keeping it real, man, right? Like, yeah, this sucks, or that you know, that ain't right, or whatever. But I don't dwell on that stuff anymore, because if I can change something, I'll change it. If I can't, then I move on.
Okay. Yeah, I think that, you know, it is one of the best things about GOGI is that it is broken down into simplistic terms. And that's a good way to say it. It's a filter. Those are 3 nice filters to run something through. And I appreciate the whole thing about keeping it real, and because people have a tendency to think, oh, they're not doom and gloom. They're just speaking reality. Well, everybody's
Right.
reality is different. And I remember one of the what was the Streetwise GOGI articles I wrote was that the title of it was your reality is whatever you want it to be, and that's the bottom line. Whatever you want your reality to be, that's what it's going to be. If you want it to be negative, that's what it's going to be. If you want it to be positive, then that's what it's going to be. It does not matter. Your reality might not be my reality. My reality can be whatever I want.
So like this,
So,
you write your own story. Why would you write one where you lose?
what?
We write our own stories. Why would we
Right.
ever? Yeah, can you hear?
Yeah.
We write our own stories. Why would we ever write one where we lose?
Exactly. And I know that people think, okay, well, whatever's going on in the world is negative. That's true. Things can be negative in the world, but negativity is just another opportunity for positivity. Negativity is just one side of something. It's just one side. There's always a balance. So if it's negative, let's find the balance to that. Let's find the what if. What if we did it this way and it wasn't negative? What if we did it a positive way? So there's always choices, and that's the biggest thing. We all have choices in what we think, how we act, how we react. And that's something nobody, the Hudas, the cops, nobody, our boss can take away from us. Our folks, our family, no one can take that away from us. That is ours. And it can be whatever we want it to. So we have to stay positive. I have to stay positive. If we don't stay positive, what's the point?
Right.
I might as well go start digging a hole right now. It's just, and I got to stay real juiced between now through March when my birthday comes, or I'm going to be in that hole that's 6 foot deep. So y'all make sure I stay positive because it's going to be ugly in March when I turn 50. Just giving you guys a heads up. I'm just being real about that, okay?
50's the new 30.
March 5th. March 5th.
Oh, my daughter.
Yeah. March 5th. Okay. So I'm just scrolling down here. So as we talked about, is it powerful? Is it productive? Is it positive? If the answer is no, then pick a more positive thought. And I'm going to read this. There's a lot of things, a lot of these quotes from Teach Me How to GOGI book that I did keep, because this booklet is basically I'm not going to say a regurgitation because that sounds foul, but it's basically a remake of the Teach Me How to GOGI book, kind of streamlined for the community. We took a lot of the prison stuff out of it, but there are some of the stuff that's just too golden not to keep. And I really liked this. It's, Antonio says, I would say that if you want to relieve stress and clear your mind, you have to change your thinking. Don't you notice the difference when you're thinking positive than when you're thinking negative? In my experience, by always using positive thoughts, my life has been uplifted. People can tell they are in better moods. My thinking has never been clearer, no stress, and I embrace positive thoughts. So the way we think is the way we are. It's simple as that. We don't have to be negative. We don't have to think negative. That's a choice. So,
I like to weigh in a little bit on that. You were talking about science and evidence-based stuff. I think I could probably find a research article or two for you to
that'd
back
be great.
that up. That negative thinking and stressing out. Like, let's say if you're in traffic or if someone you pay with a 50 and they give you change for 20. You know how some people start getting real pissed off. So at that moment, in that negativity and that stress, your body creates toxins that harm your cells, and your immune system starts attacking your cells as if they were bacteria or viruses. So it's literally toxic at the microbiological level. Besides, your spirit and your emotions and your mental state, it literally is poisoning your body. Negativity is. So,
and that's what you say. A lot of that stress. One of the biggest reasons people do go on leave, go on leave of absence or whatever at work is from stress, because stress will kill you. Stress will make you physically, mentally, and emotionally sick. And especially for women carry this stuff called stress fat. And stress fat is totally different than regular fat for some reason with women. Stress fat has a tendency to be internal, where it collects around organs and it smothers organs. It's an internal kind of a fat, and that's created by a lot of stress. And so, what is that? Cortisone? Is it cortisone?
Yeah, cortisol.
Yeah. So. Yeah, cortisol. That's what we were reading about in one of the other tools, is that when our body is in fight or flight mode, cortisol is released to get through that. But when we are constantly in a state and we function on a daily basis in a state of fight or flight, then cortisol is being pumped in, and it's horrible for us. It's horrible for us. So we have to back that down so that we get that, and so that our body doesn't keep thinking this is a normal way for us to be.
Belly breathing.
It was in the belly breathing tool. That's right. That's where I got that information from, was belly breathing, which causes us to instantly de-stress.
Bad news, because that happens to guys now too. I got really lazy with my belly breathing, and I put on a few pounds. I know exactly what you're talking about.
Well, I think you're probably eating a lot better than you were before, too. You know what I'm saying?
Michael gets so mad at me when
skip lunch.
I mean, you're probably definitely eating a lot better. Okay.
Michael gets so mad at me when I stress. He's like, well, you're going to kill yourself. Can you please just relax, calm down, take a breather, and just chill? I don't want you dead before I come home. And I'm like, I can't help it. And he's like, no, you need to help it.
Right.
And it's just
well, you need to find that one good wedge. You know, we talk about the wedge all the time, and I love the wedge. Belly breathing is a really good wedge. You know, the tools are wedges, but you know, I think probably one of the best wedges I have is music, for some weird reason. If I am stressed, there is absolutely nothing that will get me out of a funk or cause me not to be angry or cause me not to be stressed than music. That is the number one thing. If I put my music on, I'm instantly in, happy jam mode, and I can deal with anything that's going on. It instantly lifts me out of whatever funk. So, and it gets my mind off of whatever I was fixated on, right? Yeah. So I find that if I get stressed, I turn on my Pandora or whatever, and I'm over here, doing the jig in my chair and thinking I'm all, need to be on Soul Train and stuff. So it instantly helps, so between that and belly breathing. But yeah, you're one of those people like me that needs that wedge. You need to wedge it with something. Just think of that beaver. You get upset, think of my little beaver that I created in that little article I wrote, where the beaver puts a little wedge, he creates that little dam, and that's a wedge so that the water flows in a different direction. Let's create that new neural pathway going in a different direction. Wedge that sucker up there. So, but yeah, stress will kill you. I mean, and men are like back in their 40s, men in early 40s, I've known more guys in their early 40s having heart attacks than ever before. Healthy guys, just having heart attacks from stress. I mean, it's crazy. So it doesn't matter how healthy they are. Some of these guys are like bodybuilders and all this other stuff, and stress will get you.
I read a few months ago in a Men's Health, a guy who's like a fitness trainer, he had the one that they call the Widowmaker. 50% of the guys who have it die from the first one with no warning, no like 2 days of chest pain. He said it was because a piece of plaque the size of a breadcrumb broke off and clogged one of his veins going into his heart.
That was Bob Harper, I think. I think it was Bob Harper who does the commercials now.
Wow.
For one of those. Remember the Biggest Loser guy?
Yeah.
Yeah, he's a trainer from Biggest Loser, fitness galore, healthiest guy, and seriously, he was dead 9 minutes because of that. Yeah. He's alive now, but yeah, he does the commercials now for whatever that drug is that keeps that from, that plaque stuff. But yeah, it just shows it doesn't matter.
Breadcrumb.
Yeah.
It's enough to kill someone.
Crazy. Right. That's crazy.
It's crazy.
Oh.
Yep. So a lot of it is, he realized a lot of it was he needed to stop stressing about not being at the gym this many hours a day, about not eating this, about not doing this. And now if he doesn't go to the gym every single day, he's learned not to stress about it because the stress was killing him. So
That's
crazy stuff. I know. So you know what? You don't ever know. Eat that Big Mac. I'm just saying. You never know. Have the Big Mac. The healthy guys are dropping, so let's just go eat the Big Mac.
Yep.
Just kidding. All right. Let's read a little bit here. Rebecca, do you want to read this bit here from Coach Taylor?
Sure. Positive thoughts create.
Yep. Go ahead.
Positive thoughts create space in your mind for possibilities you might not otherwise consider in your. Oh my God! If I could see, it would be great. Consider if you are simply focused on all the negative that is going on around you. When you focus on the negative, your brain becomes very skilled at finding more negative for you to consider. So the cycle begins with observation and contemplation on the negative and continues until you are certain that there is only negative in your world. With positive thoughts, you are able to see beyond and past the negative to that tiny gem of awesome that sometimes gets buried beneath the muck, which one oh my with one single use of positive thoughts, you can find the tiny opening for change. With positive thoughts, you can find that common ground with others, that place where you do agree or where you share something in common. The GOGI tool of choice. The GOGI tools of choice enable you to change your relationship and even change your environment, with requiring others to cater to your needs. With positive thoughts, an angry person is simply an angry person who will not be in your space the minute you decide to move away and find someone more positive. With positive thoughts, a prison cell can become a personal university of change. With positive thoughts, a life sentence can become a call to be of service to others and a challenge to prove your value as a solution to your community. The tools of choice permit you to re, rewrite your situation regardless of how negative it may feel. And with the positive thoughts you create, you are actually creating the mental space and the possibility that the negative situation is not forever lasting. If you choose to wallow in the reality of the negativity, the solution just might remain miserable forever. It is when you employ your GOGI tools, especially positive thoughts, that you see beyond the obvious to the potential beneath the surface. There is always a gem there, just waiting to be uncovered. GOGI students are uncovering gems at a rapid rate. Join in the fun, focus on what is beyond the negative. You can be the solution our world needs and become a manufacturing plant of positive thoughts that you share with the world. You are the creator of your life's experience, and you can show others how they too can create a positive life experience by your example. Use your GOGI tools to create something positive for everyone. Love, Coach.
Thank you. I always say this, but I love the way Coach writes.
Yeah.
There's just such a groovy, cool yoga type flow to the way she writes stuff. It draws you in, and it just makes total sense. I love that whole you can choose to wallow in the reality of the of the negativity. The situation might remain miserable forever. So it's all in our perspective, and that's what she says, that reality of the negativity, so change your reality if you have to. And then we can become manufacturing plants for positive thoughts. I think that's awesome. And then I love this little bit here from Jason at San Quentin. It ain't the trials we face that break us mentally or emotionally. It's how we were conditioned to cope with such adversities that becomes our downfalls. And that's the truth. How we were conditioned, the majority of the time, how we were raised, or the society around us, the community around us. So not everybody is raised to deal with things the right way. I mean, let's face it, majority of us aren't, because, life is hard. So we have to then recondition ourselves the majority of the time. Okay, so then again, when positive thoughts are yours to create, and they can become a natural habit if you practice them enough. Until they become a habit, you simply review your thoughts. Ask yourself the 3 Ps. Is it powerful? Is it productive? Is it positive? If it does not meet the 3 Ps, then pick another thought, right? So we need all 3, or we have to pick another thought.
I think there's something that's really helpful embedded in that little statement too. Because just like a bad habit or the tendency to make bad choices becomes habitual, it doesn't take very long, maybe months or no more than a year or 2, I think, before all this becomes automatic. And it's not like something you have to, like, maybe when you're triggered or in an intense situation, you have to stop and start breathing and go, okay, what tool am I going to use to not make it on the news today? It becomes automatic.
Not make it on the news today. Right. Well, and I don't even think it's a year. I mean, they're saying like 21 days to form a new habit. I think they are saying now that sometimes it can take up to like 60 days maybe to get it to, break a habit or then form a new habit, which is basically then what? Creating a new neural pathway in our brain, right? So, yeah, definitely. It does not take that long if we apply it regularly, right? You can't try it and then skip a couple months and then, oh my God, this isn't working. You have to be diligent with anything. You have to be diligent in doing something. So, yeah.
I haven't seen anybody yet tell me that these tools didn't work for them.
Nope, me neither. Me neither. In fact, some of the biggest skeptics are the biggest praisers. I remember interviewing Ernie, my friend Ernie, who was the chairman over at CCI, after he got out, and Ernie hated him. Ernie didn't want to do the tools. Ernie didn't want to do GOGI. Ernie thought GOGI was a joke, and it wasn't until, he got denied his 3 years that the Commissioner Richardson said, you need self-help, you need to do GOGI. And he looked into it, and the first time he saw belly breathing, I remember he told me, he said, I thought this was a joke. I was like, get out of here. You're trying to make a fool out of me. I'm not going to sit here and move my stomach in and out and do all this stuff like a lame. It wasn't until he actually had said to himself he's not going to do it, but he kept reading that he ended up finding out he was doing it without thinking about it. And then he realized, okay, well, this isn't too bad. This actually does work. But it's like, a lot of these tools, people are like, I'm old school. I'm an OG. I'm not going to be looking stupid in front of the other homies, right? But it ends up working. Everybody loves GOGI. I don't care who you are. You say GOGI to somebody that knows GOGI, and they're like, oh my God, I love GOGI. So yeah, they do work. Yeah, they do work. And why wouldn't they work? It's not like GOGI created these. They didn't. It's not like it's brand new. It's tried and true. What is it? Why do I always want to forget what that word is?
Evidence-based.
Evidence-based. What is it though? Why can't I think of it now? evidence-based, the psychotherapy stuff that I was saying earlier. But basically, it's science-based. It makes sense, which is why it's important that we want to show people when we're saying, oh, be boss of your brain. Yeah, that sounds simplistic. It sounds like something I would tell my 4-year-old granddaughter. But let me show you why it works. It's simplistic, but this is what it actually does. And let me show you the science behind it. It's mind-blowing.
Neuroscience.
You know, it's the best of the best. And that's the best thing about GOGI, is when you tell all of these prisoners, take the top things that have worked for you in every single self-help class you've ever done, and when you take the best of the best and put it all together into one program, yeah, it's going to work. And Coach has formed it in such a way that it's fun to do, and it makes sense. And I know the one thing my negative Nelly sister said to me when she started looking into GOGI, after she wrote me and said, please help me not be a maniac anymore. What are you doing? She said, it's hard for her, but she said, you know, I really tried to find something negative. She said, and there's absolutely not anything negative about GOGI. Every single thing about GOGI is positive. It's all positive. She goes, how can something like that not work if you apply it in your life? And I'm like, I agree. There's nothing. We're not crying about our issues. We're not getting up there like AA. Oh my God, I wanted to drink and this happened and woe is me and oh the Lord help me or whatever it is. We're going to get up there and we're going to say, this is how I am the solution to my problems, and this is how I am the solution in my community. This is how I'm doing this. That's it. Positive. I want to find a negative person try to poo-poo on this. No, I probably don't, because then I'd probably lose my GOGI on them, and I'd take, I'd be like 10 steps forward, 8 steps back, and only 2 steps forward, right? So yeah, no, that wouldn't be good. But no, it is positive.
Forward motion.
Forward motion, but I'd be wanting to take forward motion on whoever's talking crap though. So, I gotta feel tame. I gotta feel tame that side of me.
Get thermonuclear on.
All right, so let's read this last little bit. Oh, here's this little look at this thing that Barbara's boyfriend James created. Oh, okay, Chula, look at how cute that is. He's been doing a lot of drawings for us lately. All right, so I pulled this out of the Women in Prison book that Coach wrote. I love that book. That book is chock full of science. Okay, so positive thoughts help you start the pathway toward positive living. When you have a negative thought, you can use the tools you have learned in this book. Try the 5-second light switch and swap the thought with a positive thought. Give the thought 5 seconds and then swap it out with a positive one. Yeah, it really sucks I have to go into work an hour earlier every day. That really cuts into my meditation time. I like meditating, and we don't do anything the first hour anyway, is how the thought pattern might go. After 5 seconds of entertaining how terrible things are, swap it out with something like, I am grateful and I like my job. I will actually get more done. It is likely that I will get off early, and no one is around that early, so it will be peaceful. I can make this into a good thing for myself. Make certain that you are headed toward a more positive experience for every negative thought. Another day and no phone calls from anyone. No one cares. Might be the reaction to your phone not ringing. Get 3 positive thoughts into your head as quickly as possible. Okay, so I received no phone calls. Maybe I need to reach out to others a little more. But I am sleeping better than before. Any 3 positive thoughts will turn the tide toward positive words and positive actions. By doing so, you are likely to be more successful, healthier, and have better relationships. You will be happier when you get into the habit of replacing negative thoughts with a surplus of positive thoughts. Negative thoughts bathe your entire neurological system with negativity. Every cell of your body is receiving negative impulses, much like being in a room with bad music blaring. Your body cannot escape the ramifications of negative and positive thought. Everyone experiences your negativity when you are upset and react in a negative way, but no one experiences it more profoundly than you do. The good news is that research suggests that positive thoughts are more powerful than negative thoughts. With positive thoughts, we can outweigh the impact of negativity easily. With enough practice, we can outweigh negativity effortlessly and automatically. There are some people who barely see negativity. They focus beyond the negative into what is inherently positive about their life. For these people, it does not take a place or a paycheck for an eternal freedom to occur.
Can I be one of those people?
Yeah, huh? Sorry, I have to keep muting you guys to cough. But no, I like this. I like these thoughts. Just as stuff might suck, and I know when I first started working, I get up at 4 a.m. I am at my computer by 6 working, and it was rough because that's East Coast hours. I work East Coast hours, but I'm thinking after a while, I'm like, okay, nobody's around on the West Coast. I'm totally peaceful in the morning, and I also get off at like 2:30 in the afternoon. So then I got plenty of time. I go take me a little nap, watch Andy Griffith, maybe a little House on the Prairie or something like that. Do a little GOGI or whatever, and I still got the rest of the day. So, and if I have to go back to work and do some things I didn't do before, I still have time. So that's something, I try to swap out. And now I'm a total morning person. I just automatically wake up at 4 now. When you get up that early, right about 5:15, I roll over to the left, look out my window, my sliding glass window that looks out to the east, and guess who's there every morning this time of year? Y'all know? Come on, who's my favorite planet? Anybody remember?
Jupiter and Venus.
Venus is always there. Boom, the biggest thing in the sky in the morning. Beautiful Venus. And typically Jupiter is much smaller following her, but lately Jupiter has been in front of her. And a lot of times the moon's out too. So it'll be the moon, Venus, and Jupiter. And I'm just like freaking out, taking pictures, acting stupid, like talking to Venus. Hi, girl, how you doing? Try talking to her about her love story with Jupiter because, they're boyfriend, girlfriend, this whole thing. But, that just makes my day. I love that kind of stupid crap. So... All right, guys. So here's an example that Savina had done. For every one of our tools, we have a daily assessment Q&A form that I put up along with a weekly form. And this is just kind of an example of how on a daily basis, she asks herself a question of the day and she answers it. And this has really helped her a lot. We need to get back to kind of doing that. But anybody have any final thoughts? I know we didn't get to do an activity this time, but my voice is getting ready to croak out. So anybody have any final thoughts about positive thoughts and how maybe we might use it this week or have used it?
Okay, just know that at some point you're going to be challenged by something negative, and you have the power to make a choice in that moment to reframe the situation and construct a positive narrative and walk in that.
Absolutely.
We write our own script. Don't write one where we lose.
No, hey, never write one where we lose.
I like that.
Exactly, right? I might get that tattoo somewhere. No, I'm just kidding. I still need to get my GOGI tattoo though. That's for show. So I need to work. It's actually supposed to be a phoenix. But yeah, the Ironwood guys made that for me too. Yeah, that's supposed to be like PowerUp. That's the phoenix. The first one looked like a hummingbird. This one looks like a dragon. They're kind of fine-tuned a little bit, but I love them both. I really love the first one. That looks like a hummingbird. But they do good work. They really do good work. And things are going very good for Ironwood. I'm very happy to say. They actually might get a grant, I was told. And that's good because their CRM has really screwed them over. So I'm happy about that.
Yeah, we had a gnarly CRM at Lancaster too, man.
Yeah, we did. We're still messing with her. I had to go get one of the brothers who did GOGI to help me a little bit because she favors the brothers. So, I had to get somebody to help me, speak to her a little bit, and it's getting better. It's getting better, but yeah, she's rough.
Yes,
she's real rough.
She talks to everybody but the warden like they were an inmate. That's what's crazy. like captains, guards,
Really?
yeah, volunteers. It's gnarly, man. I'm gonna leave it at that. So since we're
I
talking
wondered how she got it, because the Warren's a white woman and she's a black woman, and with her favoring the young black men and stuff like that, I was thinking that's got to be that's going to be something that might be hard for the warden to try to stop on. But it seems like she takes the word of a lot of these guys who do her group. She'll do what they say. And so I actually found a guy who's GOGI and who graduated from GOGI and ARC or whatever, who actually can speak with her, and got a couple Mexican guys in one of the groups, because I got them the books. So they had their own books, so she was willing to let them in. But yeah, it's a little difficult sometimes.
it's just a challenge.
You never know.
Yeah.
Okay, so it looks like we lost Rebecca. Why don't we go ahead and close? So we usually do our activity and ask our questions, but we're not doing that. So you want to go ahead and close with leading us in the GOGI pledge?
Is that me?
Yes, please, Jeff.
May our commitment to study of GOGI.
Wait, hey, yo, slow it down, bro. I need to repeat after you. Okay, so start over. Start over.
May our commitment to the study of GOGI grant us the joy of giving and receiving, so that our inner freedom may be of maximum service to those we love and infinite others.
Thank you very much, Jeff. So we invite you to join us for our next meeting to be held. Let's get back on Monday nights. I think that's going to be good. Monday night at 8 o'clock, where we will study our next GOGI tool, which is positive words. Right?
Yep.
Okay, wonderful. Thank you so much. All right, have a good evening, Jeff. I'm going to go ahead and stop the recording now.
Good night, everyone.
Good night. Bye.
Bye-bye.